Hi guys, so in this video I wanted to talk about my top 15 favourite movies from the year 2006. So yeah, these are all in accordance with the release dates from IMDb, and again there's no real right or wrong to this list. These are just my personal top 15 favourite films from that year. So that being said, I've got quite a large number of honourable mentions I want to get through, so I'm going to try and plough through these as quickly as possible. So, to kick off the honourable mentions list, kicking it off with Blood Diamond. Great drama action movie, I think, with Leonardo DiCaprio. Thought this was really, really good, just didn't quite crack the list for me. Next one is The Holiday. Really good romantic Christmas movie, I found, with an absolutely stellar cast. Next up for me is Christopher Nolan's The Prestige. Now, this is a good movie. It just didn't really do much for me. I just really don't like that bit where the magician kills the budgerigard. I really, really hate that part of the movie. But yeah, it's well acted, it's well directed, but I just don't have that connection with it that a lot of other people do. And next honorable mention for me is The Devil Wears Prada. The movie Cruella sort of really reminded me of this movie, and on rewatch, this was actually pretty good fun. It wasn't the typical chick flick I thought it was going to be. It just actually had a little bit of substance to it, which quite surprised me. Next honorable mention for me is The Painted Veil, great drama movie with Naomi Watts and Ed Norton. Venus, one of Peter O'Toole's final movies with Jodie Whittaker. I thought this movie was just really, really good. Next honorable mention for me is Lucky Number 11. Great cast, great action movie. Not a bad Bruce Willis movie as well. Next honorable mention is Babel. Just a fantastic, well-directed drama movie. Talladega Nights. Just Will Ferrell was churning these comedy hits out round about this time in the late 2000s, and this was just another one to add to it. David Lynch's Inland Empire. Yeah, I just don't know what to make of this movie. It's just so creepy and so weird in parts, but then again, when is David Lynch not? The Illusionist. I actually prefer this movie to The Prestige. I know it falls into that bracket of those types of movies where two very similar movies got released. You know, like this and The Prestige, Ants and A Bug's Life. But yeah, I actually do prefer this one. I do think it is the better film, but that's just my opinion. Next honorable mention is Running Scared with Paul Walker. Great underrated action movie. If you've not seen it, fully recommend you check that one out. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. This is my favourite Pirates movie. I'm not a big fan of the franchise, but for me this one's the most tolerable. I love the designs of Davy Jones and his crew. I just think those are so creative and so fantastic, and kind of remind me of a little bit of an Indiana Jones movie towards the end of this with the set pieces and the fight scenes. I just thought this one was a ton of fun, and it's my favourite Pirates movie. Next honourable mention is A Scanner Darkly by Richard Linklater. I've never really seen a film like this where it sort of has animation over live action, with a great cast to it as well. But yeah, just didn't quite crack the list for me. Next honorable mention is Half Nelson. Great little movie this that put Ryan Gosling on the map. Next honorable mention, The Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith. Thought it was a good movie, a little bit pretentious for me, but I did think it was good. Didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to, but yeah, it's not a bad film at all. And I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this one, but this one just didn't crack the list for me. And it's Daniel Craig's Casino Royale. Loads of people love this movie. I just don't click with it in any way, shape or form. Daniel Craig's not my James Bond at all. I think probably the reason why a lot of people click with it is very similar to Batman Begins. It sort of gave the franchise new life and resuscitated it in a way. And I don't think Casino Royale is any means a bad film at all. I think it is a very good film. But for me, the rewatch value is just not there at all. Mads Mikkelsen, everything he touches, in my opinion, is absolute gold. I absolutely love him in anything, and he's the best part of the film for me. The Hunt's obviously my favourite foreign film of all time. But other than that, the humour just didn't click with me at all, particularly on the chair. It felt forced to me. But yeah, I can't really say much more than that. I just don't have that connection with it that a lot of other people do. My favourite Daniel Craig movie is, when it comes to Bond, is Skyfall. So yeah, they're my honourable mentions. So I'm going to kick it off with the list now, with number 15. And that is Stranger Than Fiction. This saw Will Ferrell take a more serious acting role, and I absolutely loved it for it. Great cast as well. Maggie Gyllenhaal, Dustin Hoffman, and Emma Thompson. About this guy who pretty much hears this voice in his head that it's narrating pretty much everything he does, and he finds out that his character's going to die at some point. But yeah, I thought this was a great turn for Will Ferrell, taking a more serious role. At number 14 for me is The Last King of Scotland. This saw Forrest Whitaker win his first Academy Award, playing Idi Amin, some African dictator who's just absolutely terrifying in this film. And it sort of follows James McAvoy's character, who pretty much goes over there and sort of gets connected with him. And yeah, I just thought it was a great film. So coming up next for me at number 13 is Little Children. Jennifer Connelly, Kate Winslet, and Patrick Wilson. I just thought this was a fantastic drama about two people who are in two different relationships, and they just sort of form this connection in this town. But also another part of the story is this sex offender has been released, and he's coming back to the town, and it led to this really, really uncomfortable scene that I absolutely really loved, involving this swimming pool. But I won't say much more than that, but I will say, if you've not seen it, fully seek this one out and check it out. I thought it was fantastic. So my next pick at number 12 is Stephen Fraser's The Queen. I'm not a royalist in any way, shape or form, but I was about 6 or 7 years old when Princess Diana passed away, and I just remember it being everywhere in the news, like you couldn't escape the coverage. But I thought this film was just fascinating to focus on this family who is very, very much in the public eye, and how they dealt with the news of the Queen and the D.A.V. losing their the mother of their grandchildren. It just led to just a fantastic sort of family study, as it were, about how they reacted to it, and how it sort of pissed the public off quite a bit at the time, that they didn't really respond the way they wanted to straight away. But yeah, I just thought it was a fascinating film. Coming up next for me at number 11 is Danny McBride in The Fit Fussed Way. This is one of the funniest movies I've seen in a very, very long time. It was just absolutely fantastic, about Danny McBride, who runs this martial arts school, and pretty much the antics that they get up to. It was just hysterical. He has this role model as well that he absolutely idolizes, but he just turns out to be this absolute jerk, and it just leads to him just like absolutely getting pissed off with everyone. And I thought it was just so much fun. The style of the movie isn't for everyone. It kind of feels like half a movie, half a documentary to me at times. But the humour just really, really won me over. So, coming up next for me at number 10 is Notes on a Scandal. I thought this movie was just absolutely a fantastic drama, and how someone can take control over someone else when you've got that pivotal information to blackmail them with. It follows Cate Blanchett, who's pretty much an art teacher who has an affair with one of her students at this school. She's pretty much in a stagnant marriage, and Judi Dench's character finds out about it and pretty much takes control over her. And it was just quite a creepy film, an uncomfortable film. There's a scene in this movie that had me absolutely pissing my pants, where the student rings Cate Blanchett up to meet, but Judi Dench answers the phone, and he says something which I won't repeat, but the image of seeing Judi Dench have that said to her had me absolutely in hysterics. But yeah, that given that this is such a dark film, to get a laugh out of me like that was quite impressive. So, coming up next at number 9 for me is Zack Snyder's 300. This movie just sort of encapsulates the word epic in every sense. Just a great looking movie. He really got his own style down to a T, but I just think his movies just have that missing something, if you know what I mean, that stop them from being considered absolutely great. But this one for me, it had a great cast with Gerard Butler. I thought it was a fantastically well shot and well made, pretty much, I don't want to say war movie, but the battles in this were just absolutely fantastic, mesmerising to watch. Made for some really good repeat viewing as well, that I really enjoyed. So, coming up next for me at number 8 is Little Miss Sunshine. This movie was just a ton of fun. It pretty much is about this girl and her family travelling to get to this sort of talent/beauty pageant thing. And the movie is basically the journey getting there. And then we actually see the pageant at the end. And it was just great to see, after the journey, this family just all come together on stage. It was so much fun. Alan Arkin as the grandpa. He is just so great to his granddaughter, and so, what's the word I'm looking for? So supportive of her. It was just a ton of fun and an absolute joy, this movie. Fully employed. Check it out if you've not seen it. So coming up next for me at number 7 is Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth. Yeah, this movie it has everything, this movie, for a fantasy movie. It's got some realistic, horrible villains. It's got some really good creative designs to it and a creative concept. Yeah, it is just mesmerising to watch. Probably his best film, in my opinion. Although I do enjoy The Shape of Water. But this one for me is just 100% pure Del Toro. That I thought was just absolutely fantastic. So, coming up next for me at number 6 is Sacha Baron Cohen in Borat. One of the most funniest, again, and one of the funniest films I've seen in a long time. If his humour's not for you, you aren't going to get it or enjoy it in any way, shape or form. But for me, I just thought this was hysterical. You know, he pretty much plays Borat, who is basically a fish out of water, travelling to America to find Pamela Anderson, which leads to an absolutely hysterical climax. I had no idea at the time, because I thought when the confrontation happens at the end, when it comes to a head, I didn't know that Pamela Anderson was in on the joke, but apparently she was. But it was just really, really funny. And it has that hallway scene as well with his friend, and they're just running around naked, just absolutely frightening and hilarious at the same time. But yeah, it has some real funny shock humor in this film. As I said, probably not for everyone, but I really enjoyed it. So coming up next for me at number 5 is This Is England. This was just a take on sort of a group of young people with everything that was going on at the time. You know, Thatcher was Prime Minister, and a lot of people, you know, one of the most divisive politicians ever. But I just thought this movie was just absolutely fantastic with its characters. Just absolutely superb. Probably my favourite Stephen Graham film. He's really terrifying in this as Combo. Just you worry, you know, when this guy is going to become more unhinged and when he's going to snap. Just absolutely terrifying. But as I said, it's the characters that make it, and it just feels so real and so grounded in reality. You may not necessarily agree with all of their ideologies. It can come across as quite scary and quite frightening, but it makes for a fantastic movie. So, my number 4 pick is Sylvester Stallone in Rocky Balboa. This was a really good return to the franchise, for me, in my opinion. It's one of the best Rocky movies. It basically wants to see if a legend like Rocky can compete with a younger, in more physical shape boxer. And we just get to see him, you know, train again, come back into the ring, and have a fantastic boxing match. Sort of get to see him rekindle a bit of a relationship with his estranged son as well. But yeah, it was just great to see Sylvester Stallone come back to the character. We didn't get another one from him coming back until the Creed movies, where he's just absolutely on point as well in those films. So yeah, my number 3 pick from 2006 is Inside Man. Great cast to this movie. Denzel Washington, Clive Owen, who's also in my number 2 pick, Jodie Foster, Willem Dafoe. I thought this was a absolutely fantastic heist movie, and it had me absolutely riveted and gripped, start to finish. Absolutely great, fantastic. Can't recommend that one enough. So my number 2 pick, as I said, starring Clive Owen, and that is Children of Men, directed by Alfonso Cuarón. You know, his movies are, you know, the ones I've seen, none of them have been bad. Roma, Prisoner of Azkaban, Gravity, A Little Princess. That movie needs more love. But yeah, Children of Men, just absolutely superb. Sort of is a dystopian movie where pretty much all the women have become infertile, and the youngest person's about 18 years old on record. And basically Clive Owen comes across a pregnant woman for the first time in, as I said, about 18 years. And everyone's sort of after her, and he's basically is her protector and needs to try and get her to a safe place to have this child. But everybody is after her and everyone's chasing her, and it was just so riveting and well shot. That car sequence in the woods, fantastically shot and directed, absolutely superb. Michael Caine in this movie as well. Oh my god, he was just so comforting. Like, you just want to be around him like all the time in this movie. Just, you know, and listen to him. He was just so captivating. But yeah, as I said, this movie is masterfully shot. The sequences in it towards the end, just absolutely fantastic. I can't praise Children of Men enough. I've only seen it twice, and both times I just absolutely fell in love with it. But it was just a fantastic film. So yeah, check it out. If you've not seen it, you won't be disappointed. And that leads me to my number 1 pick. I won't leave the suspense too long on this, but it's Martin Scorsese's The Departed. Yeah, I thought this film, I didn't like it the first time I saw it. I thought it was a bit over bloated. It won Best Picture at the Oscars this year, and I think it won Scorsese Best Director as well. I'm not too sure on that, don't quote me. But this is a movie that the more and more I've rewatched it, the more and more I fell in love with it. It's absolutely fantastic. I missed a hell of a lot of the details in it the first time I saw it because I wasn't giving it my full attention, but you should never ever do that. It just captivated me the more and more I watched it. The cast in this is just absolutely stellar. You've got Alec Baldwin, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, DiCaprio, Matt Damon. Yeah, just an absolute stellar cast. It is basically a mob v cop movie, and both sides have both got a rat in them. Someone working for the mob is undercover for the in the police, and someone working for the police is undercover in the mob, and it just leads to this absolutely fantastic mind game chase that was just absolutely brilliant. One of the last films as well to feature Jack Nicholson, for I believe he's sort of like semi-retired now. But yeah, it was just wonderful for him to give a fantastic performance as well. Ray Winston as well is a sort of right-hand man. Just fantastic. I love the scene as well where there's a tip-off and Alec Baldwin just absolutely loses his shit. The end to this movie as well is probably one of the most shocking endings to a film ever. You would just you completely have the rug pulled from under your feet and you just hit the ground. Yeah, it shocks you with what it does. There's a bit of a theory I've seen with the movie as well, that whenever an X appears on the screen, something happens. I won't spoil it, but yeah, and the end shot of the movie was just absolutely fantastic with the rat, and I absolutely loved it. So yeah, can't praise The Departed enough. Thought it was just absolutely great. So yeah, those are my top 15 favourite movies from 2006. I hope no one's too pissed off with me that I left Casino Royale out, but as I said, it's just my opinion. I don't love that movie the way everyone else does. I do think it's still a great film, but yeah, it's not one of my favourites from 2006. But yeah, I'll just say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe and take care, and I hope you've enjoyed the video as well. So please think about subscribing if you've enjoyed the content, and leave your thoughts on your favourite films from 2006 as well down in the comments. I would love to read them. And yeah, I'll just say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe and take care.